All right, John. Well, the next event on the track, 24 athletes running 12.5 laps of this track, the 5,000 meters. Still warm, still humid, still not ideal conditions for 5,000, and the wind's still blowing. And the news in this event is that Caitlin Toohey, who led pretty much the whole 1,500 and then ended up 6th, has chosen not to come back in the 5,000 because she wasn't able to complete the double, but she's not even contesting the 5,000, so she is a scratch, which clearly puts Parker Valby of Florida as one of the bigger favorites.
But you know who is coming back? That's the 1,500 meter champion of Harvard, Maya Ramsden, is in this field. And just some clarification in a conversation that I had with Lori Hennes of NC State coming into this championship. She does have 2 other athletes in this 5,000 meter field. And what she told me about Caitlin's outdoor season is that it was never about checking boxes or chasing records. It was all about putting Caitlin to get into opportunities to race well and perform well. So they were never going to jeopardize her long-term goals and aspirations at this meet. So as we're setting the field right here, you have Simone Pleward in the mix. You also have Parker Valby and Amelia Mazdowney of New Mexico, Valby of Florida. Parker Valby, fantastic to see her back on the track. She was the runner-up in this event last year. She was also the runner-up in cross-country to Caitlin Toohey. That first lap was 77.5 seconds. Parker Valby missed the indoor SEC championship and NCAA indoor championship due to injury, so she has been fighting her way back to form all outdoor season.
Okay, so they've established the pace. 11 laps remaining with Parker Valby of Florida in the lead. So let's go back over to Dan as we rejoin the 5,000, but just slightly less than 10 laps remaining.
That first 1,000 meters, 3:12. They have been on 16:08 pace, very comfortable for the majority of this field, but also taking into account all of the conditions that they are battling. We've been talking about the athletes who are doubling back, and a number of them are coming back from the 10,000. That includes the champion, Everlyn Kemboy, who is sitting right now in 3rd position. But Parker Valby is fresh coming into this 5,000 meters, and this is the way she likes to run. She is a very aggressive racer. This is how she ran the 5,000 meters last year, in which she finished 2nd. You saw her got out to a commanding lead during the cross-country season, only to be eventually caught not long before that finish line by Caitlin Toohey. But when she is on the track, she is phenomenally talented. Her personal best, 15:20:10, came from last year's NCAA championships. They have been now, that last 400, 75.5 seconds. So they've improved, they've quickened the pace ever so slightly on that last 400.
Lara, here at these championships, we've seen runners do the 10-5 double. What is the difference in going from the 1,500 to the 5 and trying to pull off that double like Maya Ramsden is doing?
It's in the same day. So you have about an hour and a half, a little bit less than that, whereas the difference of doing the 10,000, you had a day in between. And we saw how successfully that worked for Stanford and Kai Robinson on the men's side. So it's just taking into account that you're doing both races within about 90-minute span versus over 3 days time. And Parker Valby mentioned that she missed the indoor championships. We'll go into a little bit of what was behind that as we see the field. That lead field is starting to separate with 2 Utah athletes, including Emily Venters, who was the runner-up in the 10,000 meters among the top 4. Like she is right now. You're exactly right. She's been battling a lower leg injury since the winter time that has reduced her to about 2 workouts a week on the track or on the golf course. She's cross-training the rest of the time. And when I talked to her last week, she described it as it started with a tinge. There was like almost a cramp in her lower leg in a workout after the cross-country championship. She had that pain in her lower leg. Took a little bit of time off over the holiday, and then when she came back, it was just still nagging, and that led to numbness in her lower leg. She cannot feel part of her lower leg. They've not been able to exactly diagnose exactly what it is, but she said, I know I'm not where I want to be in my fitness and in my consistency, but I haven't come this far to only come this far. When she won the 5,000 at the SEC Championships, that was the first time she put on spikes since February. Coach Mike Holloway said a lot of people would have given up to have gone through what Parker has gone through. It's been a challenge. She's very honest, though. Tells us what she can do, tells us what she can't. And one of the things that she talked to me about last week was it has been a tough go. Since her freshman year, she just wasn't all in. And then she had a breakthrough in her sophomore year. She started believing in herself. She said, if I could tell my younger self or any young athlete out there who's going through a challenging time or doubting themselves, I would say, believe you're good. Believe in your talent and your ability. The results will follow. This woman is a testament to resilience, and she is out to prove that she is one of the best 5,000-meter runners in the nation.
And she has been pushing the pace in this 5,000 for pretty much all but one lap. She is followed by Emily Venters of Utah. She's about 10 seconds back, I'd say. And Evelyn Kemboy, which is who you have to watch out for. She's doubling back from that 10,000-meter victory. Also, Amelia Mazzadowney of University of New Mexico is in that top 5. But that gap has been about that for the last 2 laps.
Parker Valby threw in a 72-second 400 earlier. They've now been 74.5 and 75 seconds. So through 3,000 meters, they are at 9:23. So that is, they're at 10 flat through 3,200 meters. And the person who might look most threatening in the field is the 10K champion herself, Evelyn Kemboy. She told our John Anderson after that 10K that she was so nervous when she was warming up. She had a conversation with her coaches, and they were able to really calm her down. The redshirt senior from Kenya actually had to reach out to the coaches at Utah Valley asking for a spot on the squad after she was cut by the University of Arizona. What a remarkable story to win Utah Valley's first ever individual track title. That's another 75-second pace.
Under 4 laps remaining now, and Evelyn Kemboy has now moved into second, but that gap between first and second has grown ever so slightly, a couple meters. But plenty of time for them to work together and make up that space. We saw at the SEC meet that you will start to see Parker Valby's form change a little bit as she favors that leg. And I think I can even see a little bit of a hitch in her giddy up right now, but it's just a matter of continuing to drive forward. Obviously, it's not a secret to the people that are running behind her that this is something that they might be looking for, but I'm not seeing that gap getting smaller.
But what was really impressive at the SEC meet is even when she was challenged at the finish by Alabama's Mercy Chellingot, she had a response. She was able to kick, and she might have to dig in and find something similar in this finish as well. How about Emily Venters sticking right on the shoulder of Evelyn Kemboy as well after coming back as well? Those are your 1-2 finishers from the 10K, currently sitting in second and third position. And then also for NC State, right back there in fourth, another athlete comes into this 5K final fresh. That is Amaris Tynesma, who previously competed at Alabama, so new to the Wolfpack program. 75.8 seconds, so ever so slightly slower.
But the gap has grown. It's now up to 20 meters. And I don't see them gathering themselves to try and reduce it. There's still 2.5 laps remaining, but Valby looking very strong here. And if you're out there as a runner and looking from behind her, you're looking to see any kind of failure, any kind of change. And she's probably not projecting that to them.
And Larry, that's what I was going to ask you next. If you're Evelyn Kemboy right now, you have the confidence of winning the 10K. What do you need to do over the next 2 laps to get yourself in position to win the NCAA championship in this 5?
Exactly what she did in the 10,000 meters. She made moves over the last 3 laps, and we're just over 2 laps to go at this point. So if she can dig in and find something more, find another gear, she will be able to draw upon exactly what led to her success in the 10,000. But look at the gap that Parker Valby has now created on the field.
2 laps remaining, and the gap just keeps getting bigger. You'd think that Venters and Kemboy might try to work together to close the gap, but I'm not seeing that happening.
74.2 now, that last 400 meters. So Parker Valby, even as she might start to show and exude a little bit of that injury and how it is affecting her stride. It is not affecting her pace or her power whatsoever. It's a 4-second lead.
She was second at this event last year and battling back through these injuries throughout her sophomore season. And it's they're starting to run out of time to try to reel her in.
I'm not sure that there is anyone who can dig in harder than Parker Valby in the finish of a race like she is showing right here. So motivated after a second place finish at last year's outdoor championships in the 5,000. Followed that up in the cross country season with a runner-up finish. Now she is in pursuit of finally capturing that title, fighting back through all that she has over the last 6 months.
The lead is now at least 40, maybe 45 meters with no answer that I can see in sight.
That's because that was a 72-second last lap. She is absolutely hammering the last 1,000 meters.
So for a while it was just 10 or 12 meters for 3 or 4 laps, and then it was 15, and then suddenly it was 20, now it's 40. This is a victory lap for Parker Valby. Just because we haven't seen her run a lot this year, she won the SEC championship 4 weeks ago in Baton Rouge under somewhat similar conditions. It was warm there, it was humid there, and she comes in here to Austin fresh and takes the NCAA title for the Gators. Parker Valby. Evelyn Kemboy has not separated herself from Emily Venters. She will finish second, so a victory in the 10K and a runner-up finish in the 5. But here is your 5,000-meter champion, Parker Valby, the sophomore from Florida, as she gives the Gator sign.
A 4:52 last mile for Parker Valby over the course of a 5,000-meter race. Great celebration there with Evelyn Kemboy, high-fiving the remainder of the field, and embrace to Amina Matug of Duke in celebration.